Yay, we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to take two of the 17th live session of Revolution Live. And today we are in Elik's place in Tel Aviv. Hi, Elik.
Hi, Alon. Hi, everybody.
And we wanted to start this live session with an announcement. And Elik, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So we were both talking about this crazy situation that our dear friend Muhammad is just like he's now like he uploaded a lot of posts actually saying, shouting to the world, we're being exterminated.
Yes.
We are being exterminated. Do something. And we live in a reality that this is the most unspeakable, unthinkable atrocity happens next to us.
Yes.
And we want to say what our proposal to end this forever, right?
Yes. So, yeah. Uh, let's just fix the camera. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. 1 second. This is perfect, I think. Okay, wonderful.
So this
No?
is not gonna be the official video.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't a good shot.
We
Okay.
wanted to make a public announcement that we will edit as separate after.
We can start it now. Okay, I will try to kick us off.
Okay.
Okay, so our friend Muhammad, who lives in Dir el Balah refugee camp in Gaza, posted in the last few days on Instagram some very difficult messages. Basically, he's saying that the Israeli army is operating in Gaza around this camp, and he feels that there is a real threat to him, his family, his loved ones. He already lost a close friend named Ibrahim, and many family members in the last year and a half, and he feels like the Israeli army is threatening Deir al Balah refugee camp. Elik, you want to continue?
Yeah, and every time when I speak to Muhammad, he's very clear about the reason to his suffering.
Yes.
He's very, very clear, and I feel that my duty to him is to amplify this message, to say it loud and clear, because I agree with him completely. And that the source of the suffering here is the Zionist ideology and the Zionist regime and what it's doing to Palestinians and Jews who got tricked by this horrible trick to go to colonize other people's lands and to be used as human fuel for the empire.
Yes.
And there's only one reasonable solution to this problem.
Yes. And the solution to this problem, a solution that will bring justice, equality, freedom, democracy uh, um, for all, is the solution of one democratic state between the river and the sea for all its inhabitants that will give justice, freedom, and equality for all.
Yeah, and this is what Muhammad says, and this is what we say, and this is what many people beginning to realize, that anything less than that is not a solution. It's part of the problem, is trying to continue the situation in different means. and
Yes.
people, and then I also call to people who still define themselves as liberal Zionists or whatever. You see now the horrors in Gaza. Many people, you see that it's one of the greatest atrocities of our age, and I think it will be ranked really high in the list of atrocious genocides in history. So if you don't really have a choice, it's either you're in the side of that or you're in the side of morality. You don't have any more middle ground to stand on, and you have to make a choice, a jump, and think it's not. You don't want to be there with the people who supported uh, Nazi racist ideology. You don't want to be among that side of history.
Yes, and it's important to me to emphasize what is a real solution. A real solution includes the right of return for all Palestinians. And the real solution is not a two-state solution. The two-state proposal is not a solution because it is still based on supremacy, on oppression. Those two states are not equal and will never be equal. So only one state is possible where there only there can there be justice and equality for all.
Yeah. So I think this sums up our official.
Yes, and we both support this completely, and Muhammad supports this completely, and many thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of Palestinians around the world support this, which is not true for Jewish Israelis or Jews in general around the world. This is just not true that you can find tens of thousands of people who support this as directly and as honestly as you can find Palestinians.
I don't know what the situation among Jews around the world, and I think
Yes,
it's
they are
turned.
waking up slowly.
Yeah,
But the Jews in Israel certainly only few support this, and this is a real problem.
yeah.
Okay, so after we did this declaration, we want to dive into our connection with nature. We started the first take of this live session. It didn't work technically. There were technical problems. Please also tell us if you can hear us well, if the microphone is working well. Please let us know if there are any problems with with the broadcast or with the sound. Okay, and if the sound works, please write to us that it works. I can't see any messages on the chat, and I'm wondering, is it because sound is good? Okay, thanks, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, all good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And it's wonderful for everyone to be with us and be part of this discussion that we want to make, both about our connection with each other as humans and also as animals, and our connection with nature, and what it means to be, good, to be kind, to be someone who actually aspires to justice, equality, and freedom for all. So, Elik, you want to tell the viewers some of the topics that we raised in the discussion that we had before we started? We were talking, and we had some thoughts, and maybe you can mention one of those thoughts, and we can start from there.
Well, we were talking about a lot of stuff. I thought about, now came to my mind this game we did with the hostages example.
Yes. You want to?
Should I mention it?
Yeah. Explain this thought that we had.
Yeah, because we always, I think what connects me and you, that we like to make the picture wide. We want to go both to the root and both to the larger picture and try to get
but not
both.
lose the details on the way.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's not easy. But we thought that about all the situation of hostages in Palestine, because I think nobody sane and not sick in his heart would say that it's normal and healthy situation that anybody is taken hostage. Like, you have to be really fucked up in your mind if you think by any means taking person who was sleeping in his house without posing a threat to anybody, just to take and steal him from his family and home and hide them somewhere else. Any person who does it, not whether what the context, it's like wrong to do it. But we live in a situation where one hostage taking is recognized,
Yes.
and thousands of other are not. And when people like tell me, okay, why don't you speak about the Israeli hostages, I'm like, sure, they have to be released, but so as all the Palestinian hostages.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, all of the Palestinians are hostages, because the part of, actually, you can claim that this colonization is taking a million people hostage, but without a date expiry and without a deal on the table. It's basically you force them to be in a situation that you have to think of subjugation to some kind of master slave relationship, and if you show resistance, you're being exterminated. Like, that's the choice that the Palestinian face. So you can claim they're all hostages.
Yes. And I want to mention that let's think about how an Israeli Zionist, typical Israeli Zionist, even a liberal Zionist, thinks. Okay, if you tell them this, that people should not be taken as hostages, like you said, they will say, of course, right? And that's why most of them are very furious, and justly furious. You can say that, for the hostages, the Israeli hostages that were taken into Gaza, and they
Yeah.
say this is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to agree with that.
Yeah.
And they agree with that. But if you tell them about other hostage situations, like, for example, the actual hostages being taken by the Israeli army and the Shin Bet, like the security forces, taken many, many Palestinians. I think the figure is around 1 million Palestinians since Israel was established. 1 million Palestinian prisoners, administrative prisoners, okay, were taken as hostage by Israel. 1 million throughout the years, and at any given point, thousands to tens of thousands of people. At this moment, it's like a five-digit figure.
Yeah, and you think, and this is only administrative detention, but it's
Yes.
not that the others like enjoy some due process, procedure when they really need to be proven guilty about anything. It's like
Yes.
the it's all the judicial system in occupation and apartheid is like it's a charade anyway. So it's like,
Yes, and it's not a very good charade. I think the world is seeing how ridiculous the Israeli judicial system is.
yeah. So we were talking about,
So we continue this line of hostages. Maybe I will continue the line. Okay. So we're saying, let's go back across that line quickly. We're saying there are the Israeli hostages held in Gaza, and that's wrong that they were taken. And also, there are thousands and thousands of Palestinian hostages that were taken, and that's also wrong, equally wrong. Like, I don't know if equally wrong. There is a claim that the hostage taking of the Palestinians is even worse in a moral sense. Okay, but it doesn't matter. And then you can say that millions of Palestinians, basically every Palestinian, is in some sense a hostage of the Israeli regime, of the Zionist project, of the Zionist ideology. And you can add that all Israelis are also hostages of this cult, of this project, of this hierarchical system, of this supremacist system, of this oppressive system, of this system of colonialism, of this system of capitalism, of this system of imperialism, of this system of corruption, of this system of injustice, of this system of violence, of this system of genocide. everyone who is living here, and in some sense everyone like in the US as well, are in some sense victims of this system as well, because they are subjugated to it. Maybe except for the people at the top. Maybe you can also say that they are subjugated in like you can say that Netanyahu signed a deal with the devil. His soul is damned. Like I don't know for how long.
But I think, in a way, I'm thinking a lot about this um, concept of apartheid in a bit wider way than just like what happens now. For example, in Palestine, I think there's kind of all of us as in the West, like Western people. In a way, they sign a deal with the devil, because it's like we have been taught, people who grew up on this idea, that we are free, right? That we are
Freedom, it's big in the West, in the
Yeah.
capitalist imperial West.
um, and that we enjoy this liberal democracy system. But then we discover, if you open your eyes, that like this system is actually, first of all, like subjugating a huge chunk of the world.
Yes.
That you're like, and bombs and kills, like all the rights that you have, like the other people of the world, we don't count them, we don't see them. And you have to agree to this in order to keep up your own privilege, because you don't want to be crushed by the regimes too. And by so there's some kind of deal with the devil that the more people that are better off in the system always do.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
And it's not that they're not being used, but they're better off than the people that's below them, so
Yes, and what we want is total freedom for everyone. And there's another step to this, which is the subjugation of all non-human animals at the hand of humans. This is like another step in this system. So you can say that, okay, there are hundreds of billions of non-human animals, cows, chickens, pigs, horses, ducks, cats and dogs, birds, all of them, sheep, goats, okay, fish as well, all of them subjugated, and therefore, in some sense, hostages of humanity, which is taking advantage of them and holding them in camps for generations and generations and generations, and controlling their entire being completely, to the level that they have no way of resisting their subjugation and slavery, and they are hostages. They are no longer needed to be taken. They are born into their hostage situation, like Palestinians are born. Many Palestinians are born into a hostage situation because they are born into a concentration camp, to an open air prison. How can you be born into a prison? Any level of reasonable interpretation of prison, and I don't think that there is a reasonable interpretation of prison, and we will discuss this soon. But still, when you are born into a prison, this is definitely and by no doubt an unjust state.
Yeah.
And I think all Israelis would agree with this in principle, but they would convince themselves in some way that the Palestinians are not held in prison. And carnists will convince themselves in some way that cows and chickens that they are enslaving are not held in prison for no crime at all, for being born into this prison.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yes, and this is real reality. This is just real reality, that this is happening as we speak. And this is why I keep saying that I'm depressed. Because I look around me and I see, like, if, like, okay, let's say someone is just comes into this world and they don't know anything about what is actually going on in the world. They just know like a few things about like logic and morality, and you ask them, you're coming to a place and it's really, really bad, okay? And they imagine like the bad thing, and then you tell them no, it's really really bad, and they imagine like the worst thing that they can, and then you come here and you see that it's like worse than anything you ever could have imagined. Like the level of cruelty is something that I'm still learning about. I'm almost 38 years old. uh, I have my 38th birthday in 8 days, and I'm still learning every single day about like the level of cynicism of the evil that is surrounding us, of the violence, of oppression, of subjugation, of slavery, of exploitation. And like how can people be for this? I find myself very very frustrated with humanity because so many people are either ignoring this or supporting this or actively participating in all of this.
Yeah. Why is it so strong? Like, because you think it should have been easier, right? To offer, we feel that we offer the Zionists something better.
Yes.
Like you would think people would like to consume stuff that doesn't involve so much death and murder and misery.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the case. Like it's not the case that people, like somehow people, and I don't feel that the people, let's say, who I talk about Zionism with friends, what motivates them to stick up to this ideology is a sadism or joy of just they just want to see others being killed for their fun. It's not that.
Yeah.
And still these horrible ideologies that enforce everything, because I'm thinking about the power of ideology. A lot of time I'm arguing with somebody who is a Zionist,
Mm-hmm.
but most of my friends don't take are not participating actively.
Yes. They're
Like,
not like first-hand killing anyone.
yeah, they're just people who live here and either ignore it or support it or
Yes, but only with like words and their minds.
yeah, yeah. And then sometimes I think, okay, what do I want from these people? But these people having those idea in their mind, this is the problem.
Yes. Yes.
That's what give power to the one where that's what enables the people who have power to have real power, material power,
Exactly.
and commit this kind of crimes. So you cannot just say, oh, it's just ideas in people's minds.
No, it's not. They have a real impact on reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that what needs to be discussed here is the question: what is the system? Okay. So I think that the answer to the question, how so many people who could be good people, definitely could be good people, are now supporting atrocities. Okay.
Hmm.
And
And we keep going around this. All our podcast, we're talking about
yes,
this.
yes, and I think this is an important question because this allows us to understand how the system works, because the system is the problem. And what is the system? The system, first of all, in what plane does the system exist? The system is not a strictly physical thing. It is something that exists in the relationship between people, and in the relationship between people and other animals, and in the relationship between people and nature. Okay, it's it exists in that plane, in the plane of relationships between individuals, in the place of relationships between individuals and the rest of nature.
But it's if I want to a bit push on that point, right? Because when we say system, we imagine something physical. I think you tell me the system, I think about bankers and armies.
Yes, it
and,
has a
and
physical manifestation.
tanks. But how come? Because there are many things that runs in the intersubjective world, like culture, like music, like poetry,
Yes.
like spiritual practices, like
Yes.
and there are millions of like religions and spiritual practices, and in this what happens between people. Like most of what we do as humans, like we happens in that realm. And then I think, but not all of this is oppressive. Not all of this become a tool of some people to have power over other people.
Yes, I agree.
Like when we say the system is when this kind of things start to happen in.
So I have two answers to this. One is that the system, okay, if I just look at the various interpersonal and collective relationships between individuals, okay, and when I say individuals, I think about this more and more, including all other animals, okay,
Mhm.
because they are individuals. So I talk about relationships between all individuals. You look at the relationship between all individuals, and you look at the relationship between individuals and the rest of nature, which also exists. Okay,
Mhm.
and uh, uh, you can say that this is just the system. Okay, the system includes all of the relationships, and then I will say, okay, this is a reasonable definition, and then. What I can say is that I acknowledge the existence of this system of relationships, and I want this system to be as good as possible.
Mhm.
It has some good elements like spirituality, like morality, like knowledge, like thought, like art. It has a lot of positive effects and products, and like the relationships can be good, but the relationships can be bad. And then I want to point a light on this system and say, I want to improve the system. I want to make it good. And how do I do it? So there are two steps to this. One is improving my relationship with others and with like all of this collective, including all individuals and including nature. And the other is convincing others or explaining to others how the system works and prevents this, so and how we can make it better. And I think that this is just, if you do not agree with this, if someone doesn't agree with this, that this system of interrelations and connections should be better, then I don't know what we're even talking about.
Yeah, but all the people who support the stuff that we recognize and evil and atrocious and bad,
Mhm.
a lot of time they will say, I also wish it could be like you described, but there's some stuff that we do because of necessity. It's not that I would not want to live in harmony. I just think that there is a situation where I have to defend myself, right?
And do you believe them?
When they say it,
Yes.
I believe them that they do themselves believe that
Okay.
if they're not going to do what they're going to do, they will suffer a very, very huge harm. And you can say, okay, so what? So if your safety is depending on killing thousands of people, I would question the value of my own safety
Mhm.
if I would, let's play a mind game, okay?
Mhm.
You are coming to a world that the creature who um, created you, let's say God, tells you, okay, I can bring you to this world, but in order for you to exist and have fun, millions of other beings will have to suffer a tremendous hell. I would choose not to be born,
Yes, I would be like, no, 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 I'm sorry. This
and
is not a deal
and
with
if
God.
I
This is a deal with the devil.
yeah, and if I would believe that this is an inherent condition to my existence, um, I don't think I would want to live. Now, I do recognize that, animals hunt down each other in nature. Like, these things happen, but it's not,
It's not the way that it happens with humans and other animals.
yeah, it's not like that there's industry that slaughtering and torturing thousands and thousands. It's not that. There's no connection between this and that. And we can discuss we had a lot of discussion
Mhm.
about
Speciesism, human supremacy,
speciesism and
human.
the fact that there is in evolution there is also this element of conflict between species that on the apparent level
Yeah,
that the lion has to hunt down the deer, and like it
yeah,
seems like there's nothing to do about it, and it's kind of part of the characteristic of the
yes.
ecological system.
But this doesn't mean that speciesism does not exist. And here is a proof. Here is an example of speciesism. Okay, so most people, when they see someone abusing a dog or a cat, enacting any sort of unnecessary violence towards dogs and cats, they would say that this is horrendous. But when they see the same kind of thing being done to pigs, who are no less intelligent or nice than dogs or sheep or cows, amazing beings, just really kind and loving and wonderful and beautiful, and they have done nothing wrong, and still to them abusing and murdering and enslaving and exploiting these animals, chickens, amazing creatures. What is wrong with those creatures? What is so inferior about those creatures that gives you the right to do this to them? Like, this is so divorced from any kind of reasonable discussion, you know?
Mhm.
But this is reality, and we want to change reality. So we had kind of an idea that we wanted to do later today. We want to go to Tel Aviv University, which is somewhere that I spent a lot of time in. Like 12 years, I was doing my degrees, first and second degrees in math, and I took a lot of film analysis classes there as well, and like philosophy classes sometimes. And we're gonna go there. There's like a really nice lawn there, and the weather is okay, and people will probably be sitting there and talking. And we think that students have a historical and moral duty to support justice, at least when they are students, right? This is like, you know, the trope of the student that fights for justice. And I don't see many, or even a few, Israeli students who are doing even close to the things that are being done in universities all around the world.
Yeah, and then around the world, like the students in the US, especially, I think, showing like tremendous persistence.
In some universities more, in some universities less, okay, but in Israel it's definitely fascist galore. You
I
know,
think here the students are pretty much are into the liberal judicial reform against Bibi. I think if we're gonna go there, I think we're gonna find a lot of those.
yes, but they still support atrocities. Many of them participate in atrocities. The universities had to adjust their their behavior to accommodate for reserve duty soldiers. Okay, so people actively participating in the genocide machine while it is doing its genocide, and not out of complete obligation. They can get out of it. It's not as bad as like getting out of the regular service, the 2 years for women and the 2.5 or 3 years for men. This is hard to get out of. You have to be in military prison. Okay, I get it. Like, let's say I get it. Okay, we did it. Okay, but we didn't do it while the genocide was actively happening. This is like but people who do reserve duty, people who they can get out of it easily. Okay, the world needs to know that most soldiers in the Israeli army are not, I don't know if most, okay, but like a big number of soldiers in the Israeli army actively participating in the genocide are not one of those soldiers that can say, this is like by law, I can't get out of it, I will pay a heavy price. Okay, they can't even say it reasonably. There's no reasonable way to say it.
But now there are people who say they are not, like, I think.
Yes, there are more and more people who are saying that, but of the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Of the wrong reasons, because they say we're killing our hostages, because they say it's hurting the economy, because they say that the genocide is not worthwhile, not because they care about the Palestinians, which they do not. Okay, and this is what we want to do. Okay, we want to speak to students and we want to hear from them and we want to tell them, hey guys, we're anti-Zionists. Look at what's going on. Look at our friend Muhammad, who is being oppressed, and many people in his family were murdered. His friend, his good friend Ibrahim, who is a good person, I can vouch for him, was murdered by the Israeli army for no fucking reason. Tell us how we can save Muhammad and his family and his loved ones. I wish I could save my grandfather's family when they were murdered in the Holocaust in the 1940s. Now I wish I can save Muhammad and his family, but I'm not sure, and this is wild. It's wild. And I can't talk about it with my family. You understand this? That if I say this to my family, they will react badly. Fuck. Dystopia, dystopia. We live in a fucking dystopia.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it is a dystopia. It is a dystopia, and I feel that I'm like, when I see this extreme reality, it makes me, because many people write me, take care of your emotional health, don't blame yourself too much.
Yeah.
But then I feel like in the face of this thing, I need to do more extreme stuff. I don't need to take care of my emotional health. I need to go and shout at people. I need to.
Yes, it is the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do, and I'm scared, and it's like, and I feel even going to just to talk to people and students, I say like, look, this is what I am. I'm an
this is scary. Just so you know, I'm scared of this. I'm scared of, like, at the very least, I'm like almost positive that we will have bad emotional experiences within this. Like, at the very least, I'm sure of this.
Yeah, we're gonna have bad emotional experiences, but
like I have when I speak with people in the street, like when I do protests for non-human animal rights and for veganism, I get a lot of bad reactions, and I usually have bad emotional experiences. When I go to one of these protests to speak with people, I know that I will have a bad emotional experience, and this is the same thing that I feel when I speak with Zionists.
So you need to prepare yourself emotionally for that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like, I'm not saying woe us, but it's we're doing this because we feel like it's important, but we must prepare that this is going to be unpleasant, because this is meeting the cult head on and saying I'm against the cult to a cult member.
Yeah.
This is what it is. This is the kind of thing we're doing.
Yeah. But we have to that's the thing that I feel that I'm not doing enough, and I keep telling like we're not doing it enough, and then you tell me let's go do it, and I'm like, ooh.
Because it's scary, and I don't know what will happen. Maybe they will call the cops on us. I don't know. They might. I don't know. They might call security.
Because in this society, I always think what is the right way to approach people. Is approaching it head on is the right thing to do?
I don't know.
Or just I want to talk and then show my, like, I don't know, because I'm honestly...
We will try to be as pleasant as possible, because I think that once the truth is on your side, there's no reason. I don't follow this, okay? It's hard for me to follow this, but I think that when the truth is on your side, rationally speaking, there is no reason to get upset and to there is a reason to show that you are upset. You don't need to hide your feelings. You can say, listen, this is making me really mad because my friend Muhammad is under threat, because I know that cows are being murdered. I don't know if we will talk about this. Maybe we will do another episode where we talk about this,
Yeah.
Because right now I feel like the urgency to talk about Gaza in Israeli universities.
Yeah.
And maybe next week we can do another one about veganism. So what was I saying? I don't remember what my point was. Can anyone remind me my point? If you understood where I was going, maybe we can answer some questions. Professor Ishayahu Leibovich warned us all, we didn't listen. Yeah, but he was also like a Zionist of some sort. He was against the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza. He wasn't against Zionism outright, right?
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He was good in spotting its cruelty and he was pointing out and stuff that many people were trying to hide. But yeah, I don't know. I used to admire him, but
I think our take on Palestine is better than Ishayahu Leibovich's take on Palestine. If you think that makes me, I don't know, elitist, I don't know, but I think our take is better. I just think on a very
yeah.
direct level, it's a better take. Okay. Let's see if we have some interesting comments. I will go back to the beginning and see. Elik, I loved seeing the concert on your channel. Okay. So this is an opportunity. Elik, please tell about the songs that you put on your channel, and I will put the links while you speak about it. Okay?
Yeah. We uploaded we did a house concert in Haifa almost like 4 months ago already.
Mm-hmm.
And finally I uploaded the music that we recorded, and yeah, there's a lot of good songs there. So some of these are my songs, some of Ayelet, and we do all of them together. And Alon was there too, and he's
Yeah, it was a magical night.
Yeah, and he helped us with making it happen. It's happening also a lot of.
I just wish I could be your producer, but you seem very resistant to being produced.
No, I need to be produced. We need to think of some plan for me.
Can anyone help us produce music for Elik? If you can, please contact us on Instagram. So this is a link to one of the songs, to the song Jewish Brother from that concert. And there are many songs from that concert, like for example, Rannu Bil Arabi. That's one of Ayelet's songs, and it's amazing, and it only has 68 views. So please go watch it. Come on. This deserves like at least 68 million views. Here, you see I'm producing.
Yeah, you're good.
How did this song of peace, love, justice, freedom, and togetherness not get 68 million views? I find it baffling. And Sister on the Other Side of the Wall, which is a song that always makes me cry, where Ayelet sings to a friend from across the wall. It's not a specific friend. It's like all of the women of Gaza are friends, and there is no reason that they should suffer the fate that they are suffering. And because it's very simple, because the fate that they are suffering is the direct result of the Zionist project and the Zionist ideology and the Zionist regime, then the Zionist ideology, the Zionist project, and the Zionist regime must be dismantled completely and immediately. Just a direct result of this. If you do not agree with this, then I apologize, my friend, but I will have to tell you something harsh. You are not on the side of justice. You are on the side of injustice. Okay, so a few of Elik's songs and Ayelet's songs from this concert, and it was a magical night. And please go and watch the clips of the songs from this concert, and go and browse some more. We will make a playlist after we log off of the live session. We will make a playlist of Elik's and Ayelet's songs from this concert, and also go watch the One State Solution podcast, where we had the discussion about normalization, that we think is a very deep and important subject in the way that the system works to enforce the oppression, the subjugation, the exploitation, the violence, the war, the genocide, the Holocaust that are part of it. And we also, what else is on our channels that people should watch?
There was a conversation with Tato.
Yes, okay. So we started a new project um, where we help Zionists, anti-Zionists, people who were Zionists or who were born into the Zionist cult, but did the necessary deprogramming, and now they declare themselves to be against the cult, to step out of the anti-Zionist closet. So you want to tell a little bit about Tato and our conversation with him, and so people should watch that. I will find the link as well.
Yeah, Tato is a really nice guy, dear
Yeah,
friend,
yeah, new
who
friend, but
who
already dear
approached,
friend.
yeah, new dear friend, but he approached us,
Yes.
and we announced that we're doing this series of uh, allowing people to come out of the anti-Zionist closet, and he became out to be
The first guest.
the first guest, and he is amazing. He's smart, he's sensitive, and it's
Yeah, he's only 20 years old. He's much more advanced in his liberation from Zionism than we were. When we were
yeah,
20 years old, I must
way
give him
more.
this. Way more.
Right,
Way more.
right.
So kudos to Tato. And thank you, Tato, for coming and talking with us. And we had a very interesting discussion. And I think uh, Tato deserves a lot of support
Yeah.
and encouragement
And
for
it's
stepping
not
out of the
easy
closet.
to
Yes.
put up your face there and say, this is what I am. It's
Yes.
very.
Yes. When I talked
Uh,
to Tato and told him that we want to do this with him, because he told us that he wants to do it, I told him, listen, be very mindful of the significance of what you are doing, because there is some slight chance that this could become unpleasant or even slightly dangerous. Okay, what we're doing is slightly dangerous. I don't know exactly. Okay,
yeah, we don't know on what level, but
we don't know on what level.
let's say this regime want to come after us at some point.
So Tato said no. Why did Tato want to do it? Because he feels like um, his security is not worth his silence anymore.
Yeah,
Because he feels like he must speak out, because this is like it's rotting his soul to not speak out against the horrible crimes that are being committed and the real reason for them and the real way to solve them. And if you were born into the Zionist cult and now recognize it as a cult and want to declare to the world that you are an anti-Zionist and that you want this project to be dismantled because it is a genocidal colonial supremacist project, then please, you can come and talk with us, okay? And we will encourage more and more and more people to do it in a very public way, because we believe that this is some small part of the revolution, okay?
yeah.
The revolution against Zionism. So thank you, Tato, and you were amazing. And we hope to have more discussions with you in the future, and go deeply into the subjects of building a better future for everyone between the river and the sea.
Yeah, and I hope that people see Tato and will get courage from him, and that's
Mhm.
how we make it a bigger circle. And I think this is, if we continue this series, it's a big service that we're doing.
Yes.
I think it's a big service. There are many ways to serve the cause of liberating people, and I think giving a platform to speak up first time in a nice way, it's a nice thing to do.
Yes, and we want to continue to do it more and more and more. Um, and maybe I think because we want to do this thing where we go to Tel Aviv University and speak to students, maybe not. Let's not make this live too long. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe we will just answer a few questions from the audience, and then we will wrap it up within like an hour. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that we can go to Tel Aviv University and do this thing. We will do another live, like in, I don't know, probably 2 hours, something like that. Okay. So let's go back and see some comments in the chat. Uh, I don't know. There are many comments, but I don't know if anyone. I want to address it at this moment. Oh, Can you think back about when did you learn all these lessons? Were you born this enlightened? First of all, thank you, Zohar. But I think it's just a matter of honestly and directly thinking about reality and allowing yourself to be guided by your good intentions and to heal yourself from the brainwashing, from the damages, from the trauma, from the subjugation and enslavement to this system. To the when the system enslaves you, then it is a bad system. Uh, Anytime a system enslaves someone, then this is a sign that the system needs to be improved. In what way? So that the system does not enslave that person, okay, or any other individual.
I
And
just want to
nature.
say that I don't like the term enlightened.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't know. I think when a person starts to think of himself as enlightened, he is in a grave danger.
I just think that my opinions are better than other opinions, and that the choices that I make are better than other choices. This is why I have these opinions, and this is
It's
why.
built in to have an opinion, right? If like you don't think that your opinion is right, so you don't. That's
Yes,
the thing. Like people tell like our position, you're arrogant, or it's like. But what can I do? Like,
yes, but
I think I'm right and you're wrong, and I'm saying it. What
but
can I do?
also we are very willing to discuss honestly our opinions. This is why we got to these opinions to begin with. We used our minds and hearts. This is what we try to do, and I'm sure that in 10 years my morality, my independence, my strength, my moral strength, my intellectual strength could be better because I can work on it. And I try to work on it, and I only expect or want or aspire or hope that other people do the same. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah, but I think part of it is for me is accepting that I'm not enlightened, and I always need to think about what I think,
Yes.
and even in this process of like thinking about Zionism and getting to where I am, I still sometimes ask myself hard questions. And I think that's why it is important to engage with people who are ready to ask themselves hard questions.
And that is maybe what we will try to do later on at the
Yeah.
university. Maybe we can find people who can have a reasonable discussion
Yeah,
or a
and I
semi-reasonable
think,
discussion.
and if we succeed to come to them with a place that comes from like heart place, like, look, this is happening. We're seeing this is happening.
Yeah.
It's so horrific. It's breaking our hearts every day, and it's weird to us that there's so much quiet around this, because
Yes.
this is happening.
And even support and
Yeah.
active participation.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Philip was listening to the Goldberg variations. Yes. Classical music is good to develop the mind and the heart. And this is connected to more. Well, if the system was only art, then way to go, system.
Yeah, and they always say that the Nazis.
Did you ever? Yeah.
No, that they say that the Nazis were liked classical music.
Yes, it doesn't. It's not. It's not a sufficient condition. I think it's a somewhat necessary condition to have good taste. Is a necessary condition to not be a Nazi, but it's not a sufficient condition. Maybe only if you apply your taste to everything. If you do distasteful acts like genocide, then maybe you're not a person of good taste. Just my take on that. Did you ever manage to convince anyone of your views? I did. A few people.
I feel it's not that I convinced someone, but I think my insistence and people are with ongoing interaction with me, so I influence them.
Mm-hmm.
They're going farther with radicalizing themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I wish there was one guy in this university talk that I gave that I heard that he got converted after.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
so you have at least one victim. Wonderful.
Yeah, there was in I gave when I was in the US. I gave a talk in a university as and in a friends like Hiba that
Yeah, we
wanted
want to
her.
have a conversation with her on our podcast.
Yeah, and she invited me to give a talk in the course she gave on like settler colonialism
Mhm.
and to show an example of like someone who was born into the settler society but still take position against the colonialist project.
Mhm.
And I think he never met an Israeli who have this. And there was a Jewish
Mm.
kid, American kid, who, but he was also spent some time in Israel. He have some family here, so he is connected. And he was arguing, and she told me few like a month ago that after I gave the talk, like something in his mind
That's amazing.
switched.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's
so it can
amazing.
happen. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
it can
amazing.
happen.
So my prime success story is my current girlfriend, Tamar. Um, when we met, um, she okay. So she was Zionist, but a liberal Zionist, and also I think that. So I asked myself again and again and again why Tamar was open to change her mind about this issue, well, while the vast majority of other Zionists were
Or
not
not. Yeah.
and are not. And I'm not saying that the cult was deep inside her, okay, but it was
Hmm.
inside her. She was convinced to some extent of the propaganda at different stages of her life. Um, and she comes from a liberal Zionist family. Um, and I think that the 7th of October and what transpired after had a big part in this, okay? Had a big part in this because she became very disillusioned with her society. She saw how just saying that she's against the murder of babies can be considered to be treasonous. And of course, she is against. Like this is like okay. So
Yeah.
Tamar is also very active in the struggle against the non-human animal Holocaust and the meat, dairy, and eggs industry, and what non-human animals are going through. And she's
Yeah.
a vegan, okay, like me. Um, and I think that the place uh, the place in her heart, in her mind, in her
Yeah.
soul that brought her to veganism and to oppose the non-human animal Holocaust is the exact same place that helped her
Yeah.
oppose the genocide of the
Basic
Palestinians.
morality.
Yes.
Yeah, and then she discovered that for some vegans,
Yeah.
like Palestinians are not worthy, like
No.
are
Yeah.
less than the cows that they protect.
Yes.
Like, like it's a you can fight for yeah you can fight for one oppression in one place and then completely dismiss it when it comes to other area.
Yes. And vice versa. By the
Yeah.
way, there are many people who support the freedom of Palestine, who support
Yeah, and
justice
will
for
get
Palestinians.
personally insulted when you say like you connect these things and you cannot.
But even before I connect these things,
Yeah,
okay, whatever, they can be appalled by the oppression of Palestinians, but actively participate in the oppression of cows, chickens, pigs. Why? Why? Are they more guilty of anything? Are they more guilty of anything? I'm sorry. What? No. There is no argument. There is no argument here.
yeah,
When you look at it from the point of view of the victim, this helps you see through the Zionist ideology, which Tamar did, by the way. She looked at it through the point of view of Palestinians. She was able to do it because she has immense empathy that she developed. Okay, and that everyone should develop empathy. Empathy
yeah.
is a powerful tool that Tamar used and that we used, I think.
Because what is the Zionist trick that doesn't allow them to develop this? To develop the simple thought, what would I do if I was in their shoes, right?
Mhm.
Because that's all you have to ask. The moment you ask that seriously, sincerely, you're like, wow, I would pick a gun tomorrow. Like you
Yes.
understand. It's like how they don't resist more. Like this is the moment you are putting yourself in the Palestinian shoes. Is like, fuck, how there is no, like, how October 7th is all that we've seen,
Yeah.
like, and it's horrible to say it, but it's like, all this twisted look, like that, people are demonizing Yemen.
Yes.
And now I saw a video that US just did a strike that killed hundreds of Yemeni people. Did you know?
Really? Fuck.
Hundred, and they say, and Trump just
This is
posted.
part of the genocide. This is just an integral
Yeah,
part
and
of the
Trump
genocide.
posted that they were planning a terrorist attack. Bad for them. Oopsie, something there. I guess they're not gonna do it anymore.
Oh shit.
And and Americans just buy that shit that he was just. They were planning attack. Yeah, 100 people staying in a circle. That's how they play. And so the whole this twisted morality that you're faced with is so appalling. Like, what are you supposed to do even? Because if you think about it, that some Arab army would decide to take some army general in the US and will kill like
Hundreds of people around
hundreds.
this. They would
Even
call
if-
it a terrorist act.
Yeah, even if they would kill one person,
Yes.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the Western people don't understand why we keep telling them you hold yourself as superior. That's the only reason you accept this.
Yes.
Because if there's no other reason but thinking that you worth more.
Yes.
Like,
let's answer one last question before we wrap this up. Capitalism is the ruling form of relations between humans and nature. Yes, this is something that we also discussed in the conversation that we had off camera before we started this live session. But maybe we will dedicate a whole episode to this, to anarchism and capitalism and how they relate, and communism and this really, and liberalism and neoliberalism and all these different ideologies and how they connect. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think maybe this is a good place to stop. What do you say, Elik? Because I feel like we need to get ready to talk to some Zionist students.
are we really gonna do this?
I think so. Okay, guys, so stay tuned because in maybe an hour and a half, we will start a live session from Tel Aviv University where we speak with students there, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, so thank you for being with us, and free Palestine and free everyone, free all the hostages everywhere. Right?
Right.
Okay, guys. So see you soon. Bye bye.